Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something we've all faced at one point or another. Failure. It's a word that carries so much weight, isn't it? The sting of not getting it right, the disappointment of falling short. But what if I told you that failure isn't the end of the road? What if, instead, it's your greatest teacher? Stick with me as we unpack why failure is not just a setback, but a powerful stepping stone to success. Let's start by flipping the script on failure. Society often paints it as something to avoid at all costs, like it's a mark of shame. From a young age, we're taught to aim for perfection, to get the A+, to nail every goal. But the truth is, no one gets through life without stumbling. The most successful people you admire, entrepreneurs, artists, athletes, they've all failed, and not just once. They've failed spectacularly, repeatedly, and yet they're the ones we look up to. Why? Because they didn't let failure define them. They used it as a tool to learn, grow, and come back stronger. Think about it this way. Failure is like a mirror. It shows you exactly where you are, your strengths, your weaknesses, and the gaps you need to fill. When you ace something on the first try, you might feel great, but you don't always learn much. Success can make you complacent. Failure, on the other hand, forces you to reflect. It's raw, unfiltered feedback. It's the universe saying, hey, here's where you went wrong, and here's how you can do better. That's not a curse, it's a gift. Let's take a real-world example. Ever heard of Thomas Edison, the guy who invented the light bulb? He didn't just wake up one day and create it. He failed thousands of times, over 10,000 experiments by some accounts. When asked about it, he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That mindset is everything. Each failure was a lesson, a clue that brought him closer to the solution. Imagine if he'd given up after the first 100 tries. We might still be sitting in the dark. Now, I know what you're thinking. Failure doesn't feel like a gift when you're in the thick of it. It hurts. It's embarrassing. Maybe you bombed a presentation at work, or your business venture tanked, or you didn't hit that personal goal you set. It's easy to spiral into self-doubt, to think you're not good enough. But here's the thing. Failure only defines you if you let it. The real question is, what do you do next? One of the biggest lessons failure teaches us is resilience. Every time you fall and get back up, you're building mental toughness. You're training yourself to handle adversity, to keep going even when the odds feel stacked against you. Resilience isn't something you're born with. It's a muscle you build, and failure is the workout. Each setback makes you stronger, more adaptable, and better equipped to handle whatever life throws your way. Let's talk about another angle. Failure helps you clarify your goals. Sometimes you think you want something, but when it doesn't work out, you realize it wasn't the right path for you. I remember when I was younger, I poured everything into a project I thought was my big break. I worked late nights, invested time and money, and in the end, it crashed and burned. At first, I was devastated. But looking back, that failure forced me to reassess what I really wanted. It pushed me to pivot, to try something new, and that led me to opportunities I never would have considered otherwise. Failure can be a compass, pointing you to your true north. Now, another powerful thing about failure is that it strips away the fear of it. Once you've failed a few times, you realize it's not the end of the world. You survive, you learn, you move on, and suddenly taking risks doesn't feel so scary anymore. You start to see failure as part of the process, not a dead end. That shift in perspective is liberating. It gives you the courage to dream big, to take bold steps, because you know that even if you fall, you'll learn something invaluable. Now, let's get practical for a second. How do you actually learn from failure? It's not enough to just shrug it off and say, "Oh well, I'll try again." You have to dissect it. First, Acknowledge what happened. Don't sugarcoat it or make excuses. Own the failure. Then, ask yourself, what went wrong? Was it a lack of preparation, a miscalculation, external factors you couldn't control? Be honest. Next, figure out what you can do differently. Maybe you need to learn a new skill, seek advice, or adjust your approach. Finally, take action. Apply the lesson and try again. This process, reflect, learn, act, is how failure becomes your teacher. Let's look at another story. J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, is a billionaire today, but her journey was anything but smooth. Before her success, she was a single mom, struggling financially, and her manuscript was rejected by 12 publishers. 12! Most people would have given up, but she kept going, using each rejection as motivation to refine her work. Those failures didn't stop her. They shaped her into the powerhouse she became. Her story is a reminder that failure isn't a verdict, it's a stepping stone. Failure also teaches you humility. When you succeed too easily, it's tempting to think you've got it all figured out. But a good failure, it keeps you grounded. It reminds you that you're human, that you're always learning. And that humility makes you more open to feedback, more willing to collaborate, and more empathetic to others who are struggling. It's a character-building tool like no other. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, fear of failure. It's what holds so many of us back. We don't start that business, don't ask for that promotion, don't pursue that passion because we're terrified of failing. But here's a mindset shift for you. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of it. Every success story is built on a foundation of failures. The difference between those who make it and those who don't is that the successful ones kept going. They didn't let fear stop them from trying again. Let's talk about failure in different contexts. In relationships, for example. Maybe you've had a friendship or a romance that didn't work out. It's painful, no question, but those experiences teach you about communication, boundaries, and what you truly value in a connection. In your career, maybe you didn't get the job or the raise. That rejection can push you to upskill, network, or even rethink your career path. Even in small, everyday moments, like burning dinner or missing a deadline, failure teaches you patience, time management, or maybe just to laugh at yourself a little. One thing I love about failure is that it's universal. It doesn't care who you are, your background, your status, your talents. Everyone fails. And that shared experience connects us. When you open up about your failures, you inspire others to do the same. You create a space where people feel safe to take risks, to be vulnerable, to grow. So don't hide your failures. Share them. They're proof you're trying, proof you're human. Let's take a moment to talk about how failure shapes innovation. Some of the greatest inventions and breakthroughs in history came from repeated failures. Penicillin, for example, was discovered by accident when Alexander Fleming noticed mold growing on a petri dish he'd failed to clean properly. That mistake revolutionized medicine. In tech, companies like Apple and Google have entire teams dedicated to experimenting and failing because they know that's where the real breakthroughs happen. Failure fuels progress. Now, I want to address something important. Not all failures are equal. There's a difference between failing because you took a calculated risk and failing because you were careless or unprepared. The former is a learning opportunity. The latter might mean you need to slow down and regroup. The key is to fail forward, to make sure each stumble moves you closer to your goal. That means being intentional, reflecting on what went wrong, and using that knowledge to improve. Let's also talk about the emotional side of failure. It's okay to feel disappointed, frustrated, or even angry when things don't go your way. Those emotions are valid, but don't let them trap you. Give yourself permission to feel the sting, then shift your focus to what you can learn. Journaling can help here. Write down what happened, how it felt, and what you'll do differently. Talking to a mentor or a friend can also give you perspective. Sometimes just saying it out loud helps you see the lesson more clearly. Another thing failure teaches us is how to let go of perfectionism. Oh man, perfectionism can be such a trap. It makes you think that anything less than flawless is a failure, but that's not true. Progress, not perfection, is the goal. Failure shows you that good enough is often better than waiting for perfect. It teaches you to embrace the messy, imperfect process of growth. Let's wrap this up with a challenge. The next time you face a setback, I want you to pause and ask yourself, what is this teaching me? Maybe it's patience. Maybe it's a new skill. Maybe it's a reality check. Whatever it is, lean into it. Don't run from failure. Embrace it. It's not your enemy. It's your greatest teacher. It's the thing that pushes you to grow, to innovate, to become the best version of yourself. Thanks for tuning in today. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who might need to hear it. Drop a comment below and let me know, how has failure been your teacher? And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next video. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep failing forward. See you soon.